Good luck on your upcoming Maine Master exam. Electrical exams can vary in difficulty from state to state. The Maine Master Electrician exam, for example, may be perceived as more challenging due to the nature of the questions asked. These questions may seem to have multiple possible answers, making it difficult to choose the best one. Exam preparation is crucial for success. Understanding the National Electrical Code, or NEC, is essential, but it's also important to develop test-taking strategies. Firstly, read each question carefully. Pay close attention to keywords and phrases that might indicate the specific section of the NEC that applies. Secondly, eliminate obviously incorrect answers. Even if you're unsure of the correct answer, you can often narrow down the choices by eliminating those that are clearly wrong. Thirdly, consider the context of the question. What is the scenario being presented? What are the potential hazards or code violations? Fourthly, if you're still unsure, try to recall similar situations or examples from your studies or practical experience. Fifthly, don't spend too much time on any one question. If you're stuck, move on and come back to it later. This will help you avoid running out of time. Sixthly, be aware of common code requirements. Understand the rules for grounding, bonding, overcurrent protection, conductor sizing, and wiring methods. Seventhly, practice with sample questions. This will help you become familiar with the format and style of the exam. Eighthly, review the NEC frequently. Pay attention to changes and updates in each new edition. Ninthly, get enough rest before the exam. Being well rested will help you focus and think clearly. Tenthly, stay calm and confident during the exam. Believe in your knowledge and abilities. The NEC covers a wide range of electrical topics. Understanding these topics is essential for success on the exam. Grounding and bonding are critical for safety. Grounding provides a path for fault current to return to the source, while bonding ensures that all metal parts are at the same potential. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, protect conductors and equipment from overloads and short circuits. Conductor sizing is determined by the ampacity of the conductor, which is the maximum current it can carry safely. Wiring methods include the types of cables and raceways used to install electrical wiring. Understanding these wiring methods is important for ensuring that the installation is safe and compliant with the NEC. Article 210 covers branch circuits, which are the circuits that supply power to outlets, lighting, and appliances. Article 215 covers feeders, which are the circuits that supply power from the service equipment to the branch circuits. Article 220 covers branch circuit, feeder, and service calculations, which are used to determine the size of conductors and overcurrent protection devices. Article 230 covers services, which are the conductors and equipment that bring power from the utility to the building. Article 250 covers grounding and bonding, which are essential for safety. Article 300 covers general wiring requirements, which apply to all types of electrical installations. Article 310 covers conductors for general wiring, which includes information on conductor sizing and ampacity. Article 400 covers flexible cords and cables, which are used for portable equipment and appliances. Article 430 covers motors, motor circuits, and controllers, which are used to power motors and other rotating equipment. Article 440 covers air conditioning and refrigeration equipment, which have specific electrical requirements. Article 500 through 516 covers hazardous locations, which are areas where flammable gases, vapors, or dusts may be present. Article 600 covers electric signs and outline lighting, which have specific requirements for installation and wiring. Article 700 covers emergency systems, which provide power to essential equipment during a power outage. Article 701 covers legally required standby systems, which provide power to equipment that is required by law to operate during a power outage. Article 702 Covers optional standby systems which provide power to equipment that is not required by law to operate during a power outage but is desirable to have. These are just a few of the many articles in the NEC. It's important to be familiar with the entire code in order to pass the Master Electrician exam. In addition to understanding the NEC, it's also important to be familiar with the electrical theory. Electrical theory includes topics such as voltage, current, resistance, power, and impedance. Voltage is the electrical potential difference between 2 points. It is measured in volts. Current is the flow of electrical charge. It is measured in amps. Resistance is the opposition to the flow of electrical current. It is measured in ohms. Power is the rate at which electrical energy is used. It is measured in watts. Impedance is the total opposition to the flow of alternating current. It is measured in ohms. Understanding these concepts is essential for troubleshooting electrical circuits and designing electrical systems. In addition to understanding the NEC and electrical theory, it's also important to have practical experience. Practical experience includes working with electrical tools, installing electrical wiring, and troubleshooting electrical problems. The more practical experience you have, the better prepared you will be for the Master Electrician exam. The Master Electrician exam is a challenging exam, but it is possible to pass it with hard work and preparation. The exam typically includes questions on the NEC, electrical theory, and practical applications. Questions will cover topics such as wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding and bonding, motor controls, and hazardous locations. The exam may also include calculations to determine conductor sizes, conduit fill, and voltage drop. The exam is usually a timed exam, so it is important to pace yourself and answer the questions you know first. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it is important to study the most recent edition of the code. The NEC is a complex document, so it is helpful to take a review course or study guide to help you prepare for the exam. It is also helpful to practice with sample questions to get a feel for the types of questions that will be on the exam. When answering multiple choice questions, it is important to read each question carefully and eliminate any answers that are obviously incorrect. If you are unsure of the correct answer, try to narrow down the choices by considering the keywords in the question and the relevant sections of the NEC. It is also important to manage your time effectively during the exam. Don't spend too much time on any one question, and make sure to answer all of the questions before the time runs out. If you are well prepared and confident, you will have a good chance of passing the Master Electrician exam. Remember to review the fundamentals of electrical theory. Understand Ohm's law, which states that voltage equals current times resistance, or volts equals amps times ohms. This fundamental relationship is crucial for understanding how circuits work. Also, study power calculations. Power, measured in watts, is equal to voltage times current, or watts equals volts times amps. These formulas are essential for calculating the power consumption of electrical devices and for sizing conductors and overcurrent protection. Another key area to focus on is grounding and bonding. Grounding provides a path for fault current to return to the source, protecting people from electric shock. Bonding ensures that all metal parts of an electrical system are at the same electrical potential, preventing voltage differences that could create a shock hazard. In addition to the NEC in electrical theory, it is also important to have a good understanding of safety practices. Always follow safe work procedures when working with electricity, and always wear appropriate personal protective equipment. To energize circuits before working on them, and use lockout-tagout procedures to prevent accidental energization. Use properly insulated tools, and never work in wet or damp conditions. Another important topic to review is motor controls. Motors are used in a wide variety of applications, and it is important to understand how to control them safely and efficiently. Learn about different types of motor starters, overload protection, and motor control circuits. Familiarize yourself with the NEC requirements for motor installations. Also, study transformer theory and applications. Transformers are used to step up or step down voltage, and they are an essential part of many electrical systems. Understand the principles of transformer operation, including the turns ratio, voltage ratio, and current ratio. Learn about different types of transformers, such as step-up transformers, step-down transformers, and auto transformers. Familiarize yourself with the NEC requirements for transformer installations. Review the requirements for special occupancies, such as healthcare facilities, hazardous locations, and places of assembly. These occupancies have unique electrical requirements to ensure safety. Learn about the specific requirements for each type of occupancy, and be prepared to answer questions about these requirements on the exam. Finally, it is important to stay up to date on the latest changes to the NEC. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it is important to study the most recent edition of the code. Take a review course or study guide to help you prepare for the exam, and practice with sample questions to get a feel for the types of questions that will be on the exam. Remember to approach the exam with a positive attitude and a willingness to learn. Even if you don't pass the exam on your first attempt, don't give up. Keep studying and practicing, and you will eventually succeed.